I think as mental health professionals, we have to be looking underneath what we see, the behaviors to really figure out what happened to this person. Not what is wrong with them, but what happened to them.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal.
From my experience, 9 out of 10 times, if not more, someone that walks through our doors have experienced some sort of traumatic experience, and probably we would see that predominantly in their childhood. We know that childhood trauma has a significant impact on functioning into childhood and into early adulthood. I mean, I could go down a huge tangent about trauma. It's my passion. And just how it impacts the brain and how it impacts our ability to have healthy relationships and connections, which we know impacts how we function as adults. I think as mental health professionals, we have to be looking underneath what we see, the behaviors to really figure out what happened to this person. Not what is wrong with them, but what happened to them. And how can we meet them in that place? If we're just treating behavior, so to speak, we're missing the boat. We're putting a Band-Aid on something that's way deeper than that.
Now, I know they talk a lot about PTSD from people returning from war or something of that nature. But there's a lot of other types of trauma that can create that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, and I think the thing with trauma is it's really how the client defines it. Like anything that has created a sense of fear or a sense of something unjust was done to me, or something that put my life in danger, or I witnessed somebody else's life in danger, or a disruption in life. I mean, I used to work with kids, and I had a client whose parents got divorced. And she responded like I had other kids respond who were sexually abused. Both are equally valid for that person. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really like, how is this event impacting me and my ability to walk through life? I think helping kids, like, and even adolescents and into adulthood, if they have the ability to do that, like rewrite their story, like help them rewrite that narrative. A lot of times there's tons of guilt and shame wrapped around a traumatic event, and helping them kind of rewrite that. And is this really your guilt and shame to carry? Like, can we give this to somebody else that deserves that? So, and then that can take a long process, like helping them like share their story and kind of rewrite that. Also, there's trauma-focused CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's a evidence-based model that can be very effective. Part of that is writing your trauma narrative. Also really looking at coping skills. How do we cope when we are triggered? A big part of trauma is that, we live in the emotional part of our brain, which is like fight, flight, or freeze. And so if we're not in our frontal cortex, which is our ability to make good decisions and problem solving, and it's not emotional, it's very logical. If we're living in that downstairs brain where it's very emotional and reactive, we're never gonna be able to make good choices. So really helping people learn, okay, like how does your body feel when you're starting to get to this place where you might make some really bad decisions.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal.